Crimson Desert has to be probably the most frustrating game I've played this year. One minute you're looking at it and you're like, oh my god, these are the best gaming graphics of the year, this is incredible. And then again in another instance, an hour later, you're playing a puzzle mode and you're like, did the devs actually play this and realize what they set up? Because sometimes it's just you need to figure something out that doesn't make sense, but then sometimes the puzzles completely don't make any sense. But anyways, after putting this game down for a little bit and then really giving it a chance and diving in, I ended up finding what was awesome about this game, but at the same time, it can be quite polarizing, so some people might absolutely love it, and if you're a stickler for story, you might absolutely hate it. But what I've done is created a full in-depth review video, as well as adding tips so you know if this game is for you, and if it is, in the back half of the video, I put 5 big tips that I wish I would have known from the very beginning of the game. But without further ado, let's dive into the start. The controversial thing is Crimson Desert is probably a 9 out of 10 game, but wrapped inside a 6 out of 10 wrapper. Some of the opening hours are rough, some parts of the story are some of the worst things I've ever experienced in a game like this, but underneath all of that is one of the most impressive open world combat systems and exploration loops I've touched in a very long time. So in this video, we're gonna break everything down, the good, the bad, and of course, show you things that you wish you would have known from the start. So as you can probably tell already, I have some strong opinions on this one. So what I'm gonna do is bring the good forward first and then break down everything you need to know as you go. And we're gonna start the ranking system on this review in terms of graphics and the overall world, because for what they've done, they've absolutely smashed it. The view distance is absolutely absurd amazing. You could stand on a cliff edge and see biomes stretching out for what feels like miles and miles. The weather effects, the water, the way trees bend and sway in the wind and in storms. It's the kind of environmental detail that makes you stop moving and just look around for a minute and admire at what they've actually built. It's not just pretty, it's interactive in a way I've never seen before. You can lean against walls, there's fully animated climbing systems, you can pick up nearly every object you see, chop trees, mine rocks, destroy buildings, light candles. NPCs have actual daily routines. If you drop items on the ground, NPCs will walk over and pick them up. Your workers that you send out, you'll actually see them working out in the world, and it's an insane level of attention to detail. And then there are also moments like jumping out of the abyss, free falling from miles above the map, looking around and seeing basically the entire world below, because the distance up is just that high. Moments like this are genuinely S tier, and there's also a full GTA style wanted system, so you can steal, pickpocket, go on crime sprees, or just peacefully explore. The freedom here is completely unreal. And graphically and what they've built from the world, I would definitely give this one a 9.5 out of 10. Next, let's move on to their combat system, and here, although it isn't for everyone, what they've built is really impressive. Some of the downsides that some people might focus on is like it doesn't have an appropriate mana bar for full balance and all that, but if you like this style of combat, what they've built is really impressive. Crimson Desert's combat is where that vibe of Black Desert Online really shines. Every hit feels heavy, the audio and visual feedback on attacks is excellent, weapons feel genuinely different from each other, animations flow together smoothly, and swapping between melee weapons, a bow, and your grapple feels quite seamless. On top of your main character, there are 2 additional playable characters that each feel completely different to control. That alone adds a ton of replayability. You can also imbue elements into your attacks later in the game, throw environmental objects at enemies, and customize your combos through the Abyss gear system, which lets you slot in abilities that modify or enhance your overall moveset. Then as for the downsides of combat, like I alluded to in the beginning, it comes from being like not balanced, i.e. you can spam your best attack when you have it and destroy a boss more quickly than others. You can also heal very quickly, eating supplies and things like that. So given that you don't have those limitations that you might have in some other games, the difficulty goes down to maybe like a 5, whereas it could have been like an 8 or a 9 if they played with it. So where it comes here is kind of like depends on the type of player you are. If you like to grind through combos and feel invincible, then you're gonna love this combat system. If you like it to be much more realistic, then you might rank this one lower. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room for this game, and that is story. I've even heard some reviewers say that Crimson Desert, if it didn't have this story, they would give it a 9 or a 10 out of 10, but with this story, it can drop as low as a 5. And the reason being is they built like really amazing graphics, combat systems, a cool like overall arching story of what you have to get into, but then how they've put it together with their mix of puzzles being super monotonous, and it's great to have challenging puzzles, don't get me wrong, but sometimes they don't make any sense. And then when they tie that into the story, it also doesn't really make sense, especially the start of the game. Now, a spoiler alert here, but you start off as a character who's supposed to be for good, you get your throat slashed, come back together, a god puts you back in the game, and then it's just like immediately into menial tasks, and sometimes it'll go back into the high level story, and then sometimes to tell story elements, you have to sit on a horseback and just go super slow, and if you go a bit too fast, it cancels and you fail the mission. So it's like so many elements are taking away from what could be built into a story, and it's kind of taking away from the gameplay experience. And some people say, oh, it's a sandbox, you shouldn't really focus on the story elements. And for some games, that is definitely true. But for here, they put so much time in developing a really good true story, or good true story, that you think they would have noticed these. So it's really a perplexing situation where like the game graphics, like overall, like it's one of the best games of the year for sure, and like definitely could be rated around a 9. And like they put so much time into it, so they could have made the story. Maybe they just ran out of time and was like, oh, we've got a few different ideas from a few different teams and put it together. But like it really pulls away from there. And the fact that you can't just, like maybe in a future dev update, you'll be able to skip elements, or they could add some like DLC that'll make it cooler. But having to sit for hours through some storylines sitting slowly on horses when it doesn't enhance the actual gameplay, for me, it's like a really big miss. So I would rank the story probably 4 out of 10 here, but yeah, I guess you'll see as you play. Then comes progression and gear, and for this, it is another example where while everything they've built is really cool, they did a terrible job of explaining how it actually works. So as you defeat bosses and get further in the game, the gear you get might look unique, but it's actually cosmetic. What actually matters is spending the time to level up and using those points to get better equipment. And then when you go into the refinement info menu, it's kind of buried in the UI, and you'll see it at max refinement. Most weapons and armor have nearly identical stat scaling. The only real differences are the minor trade-offs, like a bit more critical hit rate for a bit less raw damage. For this one, you're basically choosing gear on how it looks. The Abyss gear system is where the actual build variety lives. You extract special modifiers from boss drops and socket them directly into whatever equipment you want, crafting pretty cool ability combos. This is the part that feels well designed and opens up for some interesting builds. So weapons, cosmetic, but what you can do with the gear system beefs it up. And the real downside here, if gear is cosmetic, then there should be some type of transmog system. But if you want to change your character's appearance, you have to grind resources and re-upgrade an entirely new set of gear that has the same stats. It kind of feels like an oversight. So as it stands from this, the modifications that you get from the gear system are cool, but everything else kind of feels a loss that it is just cosmetic. So for me, I'll give this one a 6 out of 10. Okay, so that is the review on Crimson Desert. Keep it how you will. But if you're still watching, that means you want to know the tips and tricks that you should know in the beginning, but the game just doesn't tell you and you can't find out anywhere. So let's shift gears and lay them all out for you. First, we have Force Palm that you definitely already know about, but the secret ability makes it more valuable and versatile than the game lets you know. You unlock it early and the game presents it as a combat stun and puzzle tool, but it also heals allies, including your horse. Never again will you have to go through a mission with a super slow horse. Simply hold R3 and tap L3 to switch to healing mode and smack your injured mount. Here, no more wasted silver on horse medicine, but your real secret is for unlocking a double or triple jump, depending if you've already unlocked that double jump. So if you immediately press R3, you launch yourself upwards for that double jump, and you can press this for up to 3 times in a row and combine it with the gliding abilities. You can reach places this game clearly didn't intend you to this early, and the game never tells you this triple jump ability actually exists. Next, grindstones and anvils aren't just decoration. These actually buff your weapons and armor temporarily. The buff is use-based, not time limited, so it won't expire before you get into a fight. It's 0 cost, 0 downside, just some free stats, so you can use them every time you see them. In this game, stealing is incredibly profitable. Grab a mask and some keys from the local fence, break into mansions, and clean out their safes. Some accessories can only be found this way, and as long as nobody sees you, you won't get any trouble. Just wait for the alert to pass before walking out. It's one of the fastest ways to build wealth early. Then the diamond mine next to your main camp. South of Howling Hills, there's a sinkhole with ruins. Along the southern wall at the bottom, there's a tiny cave with a diamond deposit. Mine it out, sell the diamonds, wait for it to respawn, and repeat. While you're in there, mine the stalagmites too. They're surprisingly quite valuable, and the game never even hints that they're breakable. Quick tip, get the mining drill early. The House Roberts faction questline sends you to clear out the Karen Quarry. You're supposed to fight through an army of bandits first, but you can actually skip straight to the boss, beat them, grab the mining knuckle drill, and you've got a better pickaxe with a 10% bonus ore chance. Then come back for the rest of the quest later. And note, Palmer pills are your lifeline. These glowing items revive you on the spot with 30% health when you die. Grab every single one you find, and once you unlock the hidden village south of Hernand, which requires completing a short quest after getting knocked out near it, then you can learn the recipe to craft them at the research hall inside. So now, where does that leave us, and should you play Crimson Desert? Well, at the end of the day, you can tell if you're the person who values story above all else, maybe this is a 5 out of 10, 4 out of 10, 3 out of 10 game for you, and you should skip it or just play the moments you want. But if you're a type of person that loves immersive open worlds, lots of things to do, you can really get lost in, play this game till 3 a.m. and have a great time, then you'll still love this game, but just go in knowing that the story is going to be a little bit painful, but the rest of the game, including those stunning graphics, are so worth it. So then in this case, I'll kind of give it a split review. If you're that story heavy person, this sits at a 5 out of 10, but then if you're the type of gamer who much prefers graphics, open world, exploring, then I think Crimson Desert is going to be a 9 out of 10 for you. Now, if you found value in this review, definitely let us know in the comments below, or if you've played this game, what are your favorite parts and what should people spend the most time focusing on early in the game? We'd love to hear your thoughts below, and if you haven't already, check out our gaming community at Fungible Games, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next video.